Hey everyone, Tony Walsh here. Welcome back to the channel. Now here's a view that you really don't get to see very often, as I'm inside of our crowded / living room, Jackie's office, what would be a formal dining room if the table wasn't covered with stuff. We've just sort of overcrowded Blessed Nana when we moved in, but that's not the topic of today's video. As you can tell by the title, today's video is about micro dwarf tomatoes. And it's something we have never grown, but we're going to join a collaboration, micro dwarf tomatoes 2526, that's hosted by Carole at Broke But Bountifully Blessed and Gail at Gail's Southern Living, and I'll put a link to both of their descriptions in this video link, and plus you'll see the hashtags. Why micro dwarf tomatoes? Well, one, it's something we've never done, and two, as we see the craziness of this world and we need to be growing as much as we can, as often as we can, for as long as we can. So, you know, we're blessed that we're in a part of the country that our growing season is long. Yes, we have cold days, but they are only 2 or 3 days in a row, and then it'll warm back up and then it'll get cold again. So we're blessed in that aspect. So we're going to try to grow our micro dwarf tomatoes in this. Jackie's got this let pot grow light behind us. Going to grow some there. As you can see, you know, we can open this door and put them on a table in front of the door, even though it's cold outside. You know, they'll still get some natural light. Jackie will shoot me for this, but this is her home off part of it. You see the big bay window there. So we have opportunity to grow even inside. Now it's going to be hard to grow a big tomato plant, so that's why I really wanted to try the micro dwarf tomatoes, because, you know, it may take a lot to fill you up, but still it'll make your salads, you know, taste better, you know, tacos, you know, whatever you put tomatoes in, you know, you'll still have fresh, homegrown tomatoes. So that's just why we're entering the collaboration. Another reason would be to meet more people. You know, that's what we are here on YouTube, as a community. I've known Gail for several years now. Carole, I just met, you know, recently within the last 3 or 4 months. And we have common viewers, common friends, common subscribers. So again, it's just a way for us to meet more of you while growing food and while sharing our bounty with you. You know, besides Jackie, myself, and Blessed Nana, you know, we have John and his 2 girls. We have Jackie's sister and her family. Then we got Jackie's niece and her family. You know, so there's several people in the family that live right here. You know, and that's one of my goals, is to try to make us as a family a little bit more sustainable. You know, Hurricane Helene that I mentioned a minute ago, she taught us a lesson. You know, without power for 10 days, you know, was tough. Then we had the snowstorms. You know, that made things even tougher on top of that. So it really taught us a lesson into being more prepared with our food. You know, in a recent video, I showed you 2 different ways that we're storing peanuts. We grew corn to grind our own grits. Hopefully, you know, I might try grounding some cornmeal or some corn flour, you know, to try to cut out some of the store-bought stuff that has all the artificial sweeteners, preservatives. I was watching something the other day that talked about one of the name brand coffee stores that you go to uses ammonia to help with their pumpkin lattes. Now, do you really want to be drinking ammonia? In the foreign countries, they use beets and something else, and natural sweeteners and colorings for their pumpkin lattes. But in good old United States, they're using ammonia. I don't want to be drinking ammonia. I don't want my granddaughters to be drinking ammonia. So I'm just trying to learn to hopefully, before I kick the bucket, that some of the younger generation has learned how to do some of this stuff. So join us for this collaboration. It's going to go well into 2026. So, or I won't say well into 2026, but at least in the first quarter of 2026. So you're going to see several of these micro dwarf tomatoes videos from us. Be sure to check out Gail's Southern Living and Carole's channel, Broke But Bountifully Blessed. One of them's going to be running a playlist where all the micro dwarf videos will be. So join us for the journey, and I appreciate your support. Until we get back together, y'all take care and God bless.